Hello, Shiroy. Thank you for joining me. Welcome. So, first of all, I know you are actually into climate change. You were the president of SLS before at IOBM. Tell me about your early education and how did you develop love for like climate sustainability and
So, my early education was basically from St. Patrick's High School. So, I don't know if a lot of you have been there, but in that school, there was a lot of greenery. There was a lot of space for us to spend time with nature. There were a lot of seminars as well. There were a lot of sessions where we were taught recycling. We were taught about climate change at a very early stage. So those lessons actually, I took them with me and carried them throughout my journey. So yeah, after my early education in Patrick's High School, I continued in Patrick's College, and then of course I joined CBM. That's where I got to know about SLS, and yeah, that's mostly about my early education.
so I've noticed like a lot of people, even like my friends and all, they start and they usually end up at sports. They usually end up somewhere else. How did you like get got into such a unique passion? Was it your mother, your parents, or anyone in general you see in your inspiration?
So I don't think I would have an inspiration in, as a person, but generally, I think it was just something from within that I felt that there is a need for it. Keeping in mind everything, like clearly as well, considering the weather in Karachi, the change. For me, someone who was born in like early 2001, 2002, like around that time I was born. So I've seen that difference. Like there were times when Karachi was really cold, the weather in Karachi is good. The pollution was way less. There was a lot less cases of breathing problems and stuff like that. So seeing the change, that is something that really alarmed me and that caught my attention.
Okay. So next question is your journey as an SLS president. You were one of the most prominent SLS president I've ever like seen, and you were very active compared to what we have seen right now. And no hate to anybody else, but all that I heard about you during that time was that there's no one that can replace Shiroy because he is so passionate about this stuff. And even as an advisor, we are seeing you there because I remember your cousin Ethan saying that he is so passionate that I don't think anyone can replace him. So how did you end like joining SLS? And I remember I joined SLS as well, but the passion is not there as much as it is with you, right? What was your motivation behind it? How did you like begin all this with SLS and all that? So yeah, tell me about that.
So the first day of university, I still remember it was during COVID, and it was like this hybrid session, and we had our classes on a hybrid mode. So the first literal day that I stepped into the university for my class, the first sort of class, I had a class like around 9 o'clock in the morning, and I came in specifically at 7 o'clock because the week prior I had researched a bit about IOBM and I got to know about things like societies and stuff like that, which in our college and school we didn't have that. So I was a bit excited for that. I was, like, if there's something as society, I've seen these in movies. It would be nice to join one and all that stuff. Before, like when I was taking the classes online, I had asked. At that time, it was of course Sir Riaz. So I asked him about it, and he said, whenever you do come into university, you can meet me. The first very day, 9 o'clock is my class. I'm reaching the university at around 7 o'clock, and the first thing I do is just go to his office and ask him about these societies. What is it? So he gives me like this big book of what societies do every year, and there were all the list of societies. And for some reason, I don't know why, I was always just attracted towards SLS from the time I saw it. Of course, SLS and SWAT. I'm not gonna lie. So those were the two societies I actually felt are something I really wanted to get into. So yeah, those were the two societies. The first year I missed out the open house and I didn't know how things work. I'm still getting I'm still getting adjusted to how university life is. The societies, when do they have the open house? Stuff like that. I missed all of that. So the next year when I did join it, the only societies I applied for again was SWAT and SLS. Sadly, I didn't get into SWAT, but I think that's something there was something good in that. Maybe it was something of a bigger plan. But yeah, I got into SLS. From the time I joined in, everything that they would talk about, for me, that was like really entertaining. It was like something that I really wanted to do, something that I wanted to. I felt like is uh, something that is a part of a bigger cause. So from that moment on, I was always very motivated from what SLS does. I always wanted to, contribute the best I can. And yeah, till today, even though I am no longer with the university, I've graduated, but still, I wouldn't mind coming and helping about it, having to do this. Yes.
So prior to joining SLS, because I remember I joined first of all SWAT, it was one of my societies that I joined, and I joined in because I had a lot of experience with volunteer work. Like I used to do a lot of volunteer work, like probably 250, 500 hours is already what I had in my pocket. Did you have something like related to sustainability that you've done before or climate change? Because yeah, you know how things work and you already had a lot of knowledge, and even when discussing for podcast guests, a lot of people told me, oh, ask Sharoy, he has a lot of knowledge about these things. So
So yeah, before joining SLS, I was pretty active in plantation drives. There were these within our own Christian community, we had like these small plantation drives. So I've always made sure to take part in that. We would have not beach cleanups, but generally like cleanup drives and stuff like that, volunteer work. So yeah, I would always go for that with my own community. Um, After joining SLS, even then too, I was still part of a lot of other anything that would happen like a cycling rally or something, or even a beach cleanup. I would always try to go and visit that, uh, try to take part in that, make the time for it basically. So yeah, those are beside SLS, I have done a lot more.
so like we've seen you part have like organize big events like beach cleanup drive and cyclothon and everything. What are some actions you take on a daily basis, you personally, that really contribute to tackling the problem of climate change?
So what I believe is like when people think about sustainability, climate change, they think it's something that you can't do it alone or it's a huge responsibility. But I feel it's a very simple thing if you just do it, like take very small steps. So for starters, rather than I think number one thing is reducing your plastic usage, right? So whenever you go grocery shopping or you're going somewhere out, rather than depending on the shopkeeper to have give you a plastic bag, maybe carry on, reusable bag. Just something very simple that something you can do. Anyone can literally do it. Just carry a disposable tote bag or any reusable bag, and you can use that as to bring your stuff home. Saving water, saving electricity, things that we take for granted, those all contribute to a bigger cause. Like even if you leave the tap open, water's running, that's wastage of water. If no one's in a room, the light or fan is on, that's wastage of electricity. That.
Even using
There
these
are times.
simple things, even like with a lot of times I've noticed one of my programmer friends saying that, oh, I use chat gpt a lot and chat gpt helps a lot and stuff like that. But for me, and I was like, using chat gpt a lot consumes a lot of energy, which is harmful for the environment.
Mhm.
And then he's like, please don't talk like this about ChatGPT. Because please don't talk like you're vegan or something. Because these are things, small things people don't notice. A lot of times these are like
Yeah,
even
true.
a lot of times I've noticed that people have Claude, Gemini, Grok, GPT all in one phone, and they're using all of them continuously without even realizing the potential harm they're doing to the climate.
Yeah, that's
And there's
true.
no accountability for that.
Hmm. Exactly. I totally agree with you.
Uh,
So yeah,
Moving on,
so,
we've seen like yeah. So I'm so sorry to cut you off.
yeah, no, 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 you can continue.
We've seen like on an individual level using paper straws instead of plastic straws and stuff like that, or using even steel straws or reusable straws. But the problem is we always see like celebrities, especially because these are people more often in the news. We see them like going on a private jet all the time. Like even if the distance is like probably 15 kilometers, they'll rather go from a private jet rather than like going through road and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I believe a fear is the mother of morality, right? If you fear the law,
Mhm.
you will abide by the laws, right? Why is there no consequences for that? Why do people like that don't have any consequences? And me, on a personal level, of course, I will contribute to the climate, but like I will contribute to tackling climate change. But why do these people have no responsibility towards climate? And what do you have any like idea about if some governments have done in the world have done like something to tackle this problem?
So, very first, let's talk about what you had mentioned regarding celebrities. So, yeah, that is very true. The celebrities, they do, burn a lot of fuel, they do create a lot of pollution. Even though when we are trying to, be more sustainable, it's no point if they are doing it. That's what a lot of people think. But it's not something that, you do for others. It's more like you're doing it for the earth. You doing something, setting an example for the people around you. When you do something, you make a small change, people see that, and they mirror that action. And that could have a more high impact than, these people whose lives we don't know about. We don't know them on a daily basis. We just know the ads that they do or the movies that they do, and we deep down know that that's probably fake. So that impact is nothing compared to something that you would do and you would inspire friends to do, make that change. Other than that, regarding the government question you asked, right? So in particular, there are a lot of countries that they do, promote more eco-friendly options. I personally, when I did get a chance to travel abroad, so most of the countries like America, Malaysia, they have the system where you have to bring your own, as I said, this reusable bags. They don't provide you a bag, and even if they do provide, they especially hiked up the prices so people avoid purchasing the plastic bags. So those are the small changes, and that creating awareness about recycle bins, creating awareness about overall global warming. You can see the graffiti artwork. You can see these paper straws and all handing out everywhere. They start using more reusable items rather than disposable. So I think the other countries are much more woke than us, and they already have started making the change.
Okay, nice, nice. Another question is like I have noticed a lot of times people like you and me who are passionate about climate change and stuff like that. We actually my whole motto was since I joined SLS was to create so much impact like we were not even here. Like people wouldn't even notice that we were here because the damage done to the climate is so less, right? Uh,
Mhm.
we I mean, I was researching if I probably consume a lot of electricity daily. I probably go on. I travel through my bike a lot, right? So, how many plants air should a person be planting to be able to tackle this problem? Like to be able to be like I have created such positive impact, like it's a net zero impact on the climate, net zero, like the harm you have done plus the trees you have uh, planted, and when they subtract each other it's zero, that I have had zero impact on climate change.
So for that, I think the best solution would be just do less harm. It's simple as that. Just do the less harm. But in terms of that, planting trees and stuff like that, yeah, that is important. See, keeping the way the world works, it's very difficult for every single person to come on the same page and have the same mindset. The only thing that we as our individuals can do is do our best. We can do our best to, reduce the wastage around ourselves, keep our surroundings clean and healthy. So, it's mostly about the teamwork and the effort. It's about motivating others, creating, a sense of responsibility within the minds of others rather than just, uh, you know, depending on your own self. All of us as a nation, as a group, that we can, bring that change.
Okay, wonderful. So can you please tell the audience how they can contribute to climate change, like how they can tackle the problem of climate change? Okay, like what are the day-to-day activities people can do so that the problem of climate change is not as big as it is right now?
What you can do, number one thing which I've seen a lot of people do is maybe plant a tree. That is number one thing. If you hear about a plantation drive, nearby happening in your friend circle or just somewhere, definitely go forward, join that.
Join SLS plantation
Contribute.
drive, doesn't
Yeah,
hurt.
most probably join that. Yeah, do that. Other than that, also where get a bicycle maybe. You know, Places that are close by rather than taking out a car or a bike. Just cycle towards is good for your own health and good for the environment as well. Again, as I said, use reusable sorry, paper bags or like proper reusable bags, tote bags, cloth bags, something like that. And overall, just be more mindful of your decisions. Maybe not to an extreme level. Start small. Make sure that your waste is properly disposed of rather than just throwing it here and there. Or participate in any kind of beach cleaning drive as well. So mostly all of that.
So people who already don't know you much, people, I'm sure everybody listening knows, but to a few people, like two or three people who don't know you much, tell us about how the types of events you have organized at SLS, so we know about your achievements.
So we organized a couple of events. There were seminars and stuff like such. But our most famous and most known of events are plantation drives, which we've had for a couple of like around 5 6 years, the past 5 6 years. On an annual basis, we do visit these parks, most famously Kidney Hill. We do a plantation drive there. We track the progress, we track the growth of the plants, we ensure that they're kept safe. We do beach cleanups as well, where we gather students to go and with our own hands we just pick up the trash and put them to a proper recycling facility, something to proper recycling facility, ensuring that they are properly disposed of. And of course, the most favorite is our cycling rallies, which are just a very peaceful rally, which is just to give students that feeling of riding a cycle, the enjoyment, reminding them that there are better ways of commuting rather than cars and bikes.
And it is even more
Those are
fun than like bikes and cars,
yeah,
I would say that.
yeah.
Lastly, where do you see Pakistan's policy towards sustainability and everything in 2050? Like, where do you see it? Do you think, be realistic and be honest with me, do you think we are actually going in a better direction or we're just there, stuck there somewhere?
So I do see a very slight progress in Pakistan's policies. Pakistan, I've seen a lot of new initiatives coming up. I've read about them. So there are a lot of things that the Pakistan government has been doing. There is like Youth for Pakistan societies and boards. They also assembling together to create that sustainable impact. It's a very small initiative. It's a very small change, but if it's given more power, given more attention, which I'm not entirely sure that it will be given that much power and attention. I feel like if it were to be given that power and attention, it would go in a good progressive way. But I still feel like Pakistan is way back in terms of sustainability comparative to any other country that comes under Pakistan's category.
Exactly. I was so tell, and since you are active in this circle a lot, Tell us some organization to the viewers who are listening and actively want to participate in such kind of drives and events. People who can realistically not go into SLS because they're not part of IOB. What are some
Mhm.
organizations that you know will be beneficial?
So we do have a couple of organizations. We have Climate Hub Forum, which was one of our partners as well. They also do, these green initiatives. They do organize these green drives. They do organize like these kind of plantation drives as well. We have Mint Rewards, which is also a new startup which has come up. They do provide you rewards as well if you do some a couple of tasks, weekly tasks to fulfill that. You do get monetary rewards as well for that. And other than that, we do have Seva Park, which was one of it is a very small NGO, but they do a really good job with terms of climate change. They are based in Pakistan, sorry, in Karachi, but most of the work is in Mipu Pass. And I personally have also gone and have seen that. So the work is pretty good there as well. So yeah, those are some pages that you could probably keep following and you can updated
All right,
yourself.
Roy, thank you so much for joining us, and I really
Thank you
appreciate
so
the
much
time
for
you have
having me.
given and the time you've taken out of your busy routine. Working at Hilal must
Yeah,
be
okay.
really busy, and yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.